please speak into your mics. We had some problems last month in the recording, so if you speak, just make sure you speak in your mics. Mr. Bobby Manuel, will you lead us in the invocation?
Love and mercy that you give us aboundingly each and every day. Thank you. As we go into the business meeting tonight, God, we ask you, Lord, time for what we're here for, God. Represent the people, the Long Beach. I ask you, God, to remember Miss Wendy, God, and her family, Father. And Lord, I want you to just comfort her, God, and give her that void with that love like nobody else can. You be that brother, you be that sister, you be that mother, you be that father. God, we ask you, God, that we forever give you the praise and the glory and the honor, God. And you never do pray and thank you. Yeah.
Will join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Miss Ann Taylor, would you lead us in the pledge?
As one nation under God, indivisible.
The preamble to the Constitution. Mr. Carrington, would you lead us in that? Self-governance of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina. The tribe adopts this Constitution for the purposes of establishing a tribal government structure, preserving for all time the Lumbee way of life and community, promoting the educational, cultural, and social and economic well-being of Lumbee people, and securing justice and freedom for the Lumbee people. Madam Secretary, will you do the roll call?
Billy Oxendine,
Present.
Sharon Hunt,
Here.
Gerald Gooseby,
Here.
Harold Smith,
Here.
Pam Hunt,
Here.
Jody Bullard,
Here.
Wendy Moore, Carrington Locklear,
Here.
Christy Hunt,
Here.
Richard Jones,
Here.
Nancy Locklear here, Yvonne Dye,
Here.
Rudy Locklear,
Here.
Kathy Hunt,
Here.
Dewey McNeil,
Here.
Bobby Emanuel,
Here.
Chakawana Oxendine, Josephine Doss, Annie Taylor,
Here.
Alex Baker,
Here.
Homer Fields.
Here.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to ask that Ms. Chakawana Oxendine and Ms. Wendy Moore be excused tonight.
Second.
We have a cool message.
Okay, I'm going to read our ethics statement. It's the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina Ethics Awareness and Conflict of Interest Reminder. And it's in accordance with ethics and conflict of interest. It is the duty of every council member to avoid both conflicts of interest and the appearances of a conflict of interest with regards to any matters before the council today. Does any council member have a known conflict of interest or any perceived conflicts of interest with respect to any matters coming before the council today? If so, please refrain from participation in those particular deliberations during the meeting. I would like to just say, I have to change glasses. Works better. Welcome to tonight's meeting. It is wonderful to see so many young folks with us tonight. I had one guy in particular in the audience. I had seen him on Facebook, and I sought him out. So I called the person that I knew at Prospect, Miss Leandra. I said, work your magic and make sure we've got the Prospect Beta Club here tonight. So I see that she got with Mr. Bernie and she's made that happen. So welcome y'all to our meeting because you're our future leaders. I know the chairman is tickled because it's Prospect, right, Chairman? So tonight we have with us our chairman, John Lowry. We have our tribal administrator, Mr. Ricky Harris. Um, we have formal council members, Miss Nita Blanks, and we have Miss Lakeisha Sweat, former council. The legend. Okay.
Miss Sharon. We also have our 2013 senior Miss Lumbee, Mabel Moses.
At this time, I will entertain a motion for the review and approval of the agenda.
Speaker, I'd like to add at the bottom of the agenda at the finance, I'd like to add a resolution in support of Kayla's Act. And everybody has it on their desk if they'd like to read over it.
That is a resolution that has been introduced in the House. It has not gone before the Senate yet, and they're asking for our support in that resolution. So we have asked that to be included on tonight's agenda.
I'll second the addition to the agenda.
Bill?
I'd like to make a correction on the agenda tonight. I love the Hunts, but I'm Oxendine.
Which-
Upon the treasurer's report, the pages ain't none. I think it's page 4. It got Billy. Did I made the motion?
We're not on the minutes yet. We're approving the agenda.
Okay.
We're just approving the agenda right now. Okay? We'll get to that in a minute, okay? We're just trying to help you out. With the Hunt part, that is.
Hey.
All in favor of approving this agenda with the change? Let it be known by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay, the next we have the review and approval of the December Tribal Council minutes and actions.
Madam Speaker.
Bill?
I come back with a correction on up under the treasurer nomination. It was Billy Hunt made the motion. It should be Billy Oxendine. I love the Hunts, but I'm Oxendine.
We'll make that correction, Mr. Bill. But you're messing up. Do I have a motion?
Madam Speaker, I make a motion to approve the December meeting.
Second.
A motion and second for the review and approval of the December Tribal Council meeting minutes and actions. All in favor? Let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is the review and approval of the January emergency called meeting minutes and actions.
Madam Speaker, I make a motion that we approve the emergency call meeting for January.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now the fun part. If you're on Facebook ever, you see for the last several years, as long as I can remember, Robeson County, Public Schools of Robeson County has had a large presence at the State Beta Club Convention. These kids are phenomenal. I mean, not just Prospect. There's 6 or 8 schools that are involved, and we're going to get to them later. But I watched Mr. Jameson on Facebook, and he impressed me so much. So I decided to start with Prospect. So they won all kinds of awards at the state level. Several of them, I think, are going to the nationals. Is that right, Mr. Bernie? So I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Bernie, who is the Beta Club advisor at Prospect School, and let him tell you all about it because he knows more about it than I do. Mr. Bernie?
We appreciate you having us this evening. This is my 5th year at Prospect, and I serve as the club sponsor, and for the last 8 years, I've either been the state sponsor-elect or the state sponsor for the North Carolina Junior Beta Club, and it's been a privilege. And normally I'd come in here and look pretty like I do at convention, but I didn't leave school till about 5 o'clock, and I live in Lumberton over on Beulah Church Road, so it was a little bit of a haul. But I did wear a Beta Club shirt with our Prospect colors. So being at Prospect's been a joy. I've sponsored Beta Clubs in Fairmont and at Littlefield, And it's just something about Prospect. We have a real family-oriented nature to our club. And when we go, winning is not the most important thing, but we didn't go to lose. So we intend to represent our school and our community well. And since Prospect has been attending the convention for the last 5 years since I've been a sponsor, we've had at least one state officer every year. But last year we had the opportunity to have 2 state officers. And so I have some of those students here today. In addition, we compete when you run for state office, you do a speech that's 2 minutes long, followed by a 1-minute skit, and then an onstage question. And so our outgoing state officers, who will be state officers until the end of the convention at the end of June, are Riley Dial, if she can stand. And she also won our talent competition at the state level, first place. Our other outgoing state officer, if you can stand, and they'll all have a chance to come up and speak to you too. But Maya Locklear, she is our elementary state president. And our Keely Deal, if you'll stand, she is the incoming state president for the North Carolina Junior Beta Club. She is also last year's solo duo trio vocalist winner. We have with us Adea Bullard, who competed in the sculpture competition. If you'll stand when I call your name. May We So, who competed in the painting competition, and you'll get a chance to see all this artwork in a minute. Caroline Smiling, who is one of our skit team members. Trying to make sure I see everybody. Kessler Collins, who has who participated in the apparel design competition, and you'll get to see that outfit that she's modeling for you today. And last but not least, she's the shortest one here, but she's got a lot of spirit and enthusiasm. She competed in the elementary solo duo trio competition with a dance that she's going to do for you tonight, Miss Misha Hunt. And Jameson Smith, oh my gosh. One of my 8th graders, Jameson Smith, he competed in the speech competition. And the speech competition at the junior level was the most competitive it's ever been. This year there was a 3-way tie for first place. Then they got it down to 2. And when it got down to 2, there was literally nothing that could separate them. They did everything they could to break the tie. But Jameson stood behind the podium and the other girl didn't. So Jameson got 2nd place instead of 1st place. But it was phenomenal. And we intend to take all of these students that can go this summer to Kentucky, to Louisville, to our national convention. Our theme this year was the power of Beta. And so a little bit about Beta before I introduce these students to do some special performances and bring them up here for you to see their work. Beta Club's four pillars are character, leadership, service, and achievement. And our motto is let us lead by serving others. So our students have to not only do school service projects, but they're required to complete so many hours of community service to remain a member, as well as maintain good grades. And so it's a lot of work, especially in middle school coming out of COVID and the things that we're doing. And so they're to be commended for a job well done, not only in maintaining Beta Club membership, but in representing our community at the state convention and what they're going to do at national convention. But we're certainly proud of them. The school's proud of them. And it was definitely an honor and an emotional experience at convention this year as I decided to no longer be the state sponsor. So we said our goodbyes, and I will continue to be a sponsor at our school, and I'll be in an advisory role to the state council and to the state sponsors in the future. But I would like for you to see this artwork. So if you had artwork, if you could bring your artwork up here at this time, and that includes you, Kessler, if you want to come up here. So Kessler's apparel design had to go along with our theme this year, the power of Beta. And so she designed a ribbon skirt and a t-shirt that she made herself that says Indigenous Scholar. And so she didn't want to say anything. So, but on the back it has hashtag Power of Beta. But she not only designed but made these apparel as well. Adea Bullard has a sculpture that she's made out of horseshoes, and May We So has done a painting. It's a beautiful landscape with a beach and an umbrella.
Been around in Tennessee. Let's see. Yeah. There you go.
Nice. Horseshoes.
Oh yeah.
Nice, nice.
But he made the skirt and the belt or what? That's all right. Talent.
So, we thank you, and their artwork does look beautiful. It's phenomenal, and they represented our school well. But at this time, we have some people that are going to do some, say a couple of words. And Jameson, at the end, we're going to have Jameson do his speech, and then Riley will do her song, and Misha will do her dance. But I do have our outgoing elementary president who would like to say a few words, and Riley Dow, our outgoing state secretary for the junior division, will say a few words. So I won't come back up here because you've heard enough from me today. But the students will come back up here. And if you have any questions or anything that you would like to speak to us about or anything you would like to help with, I'm available at Prospect School. And I'll get you emails and phone numbers. So thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Maya Grace Locklear. I am your outgoing North Carolina Elementary Beta President. I attend Prospect School and I would like to say a few words about Beta. Beta has helped me overcome many difficulties. I sometimes get nervous while talking in front of crowds, but I have learned that you can do anything that you put your mindset to. As Betas, we must stand out. We stand for character, service, leadership, and achievement. Beta has also taught me that leadership is more than just a title. Leadership is being able to connect with others, whether it be lifting them up or just a simple conversation. Leadership is striving to better your community, and as leaders, we must strive to better ourselves every day. I asked each of you to encourage kids in your church, school, and community to become a Beta member. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm your outgoing Junior Beta Secretary, Riley Dow. What an amazing year this has been serving as your Junior Beta Secretary. Last year I stood before everyone so nervous as I asked for your support and votes. I must admit, it was an uncomfortable position to be in, but as I reminded myself of the 4 pillars of Beta, I took the stage and turned my fear into courage. I remember a time in my life when I would have let fear get the best of me. I would have been so quick to say no when asked about running for state office. But I'm a Beta, and as Betas, we step out of our comfort zones to be leaders. In order to be successful in life, we must be willing to put ourselves in uncomfortable positions if it means becoming a better version of ourselves or making a positive impact in society. It was once said, I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the water to create ripples. Today, I encourage you to cast a stone. Create ripples that will last a lifetime and have a positive impact on everyone around you. Don't be afraid to put yourselves in those uncomfortable positions that will make you a better version of yourself. The world is full of leaders who stepped out of their comfort zones to create ripples that have changed the world for the better. Do not be afraid to leave your mark. We are the future and we must lead the way for others. It won't always be comfortable, but it will be worth it. My stone has been cast and I have begun to create my own ripples and I can't wait to see what the effects will mean. Thank you for allowing me to serve as your Junior Beta Secretary. It has been an honor and privilege. Good evening, everyone. My name is Keely Deal, and I'm your newly elected North Carolina Junior Beta State President. Singing worship music with my family is one of the greatest joys of my life. I love traveling around our state and nation leading others to the Lord. I want to use my voice as an instrument, not only in singing but also empowering others with my personal motto, Psalms 139:14. We're all fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and He has a plan for all of our lives. Beta is built upon the ideals of character, service, leadership, and achievement. These are all qualities that turn tests into testimonies, trials into triumph, and teach us how to take lemons and make lemonade. As betas, it is my wish that when we make that lemonade, we share it with others so that they too can have hope when life gives you lemons. As your next Junior Beta President, I will always be here for you, to listen, to encourage, and to say, you are enough. Your words and ideas matter. You matter. I will lead by serving others and always try to make each day better than the last. Olivia Newton-John, who played Sandy in the movie Grease, recently died after a long battle with cancer. Even in dealing with cancer, she chose to see the positive in life. She said, "Of course you have fear. That's only natural, but my positive outlook in life is a decision." Like Olivia, I too will have a positive outlook no matter what, and I will be an advocate for the youth of North Carolina and our nation. Thank you.
I want you to do it just like you did at Cherokee the other day.
Can I use one of these microphones?
Do whatever you want to, darling.
Is it on? Oh, there it goes. Well, he said y'all don't mind if I walk around through here, okay? As he said, I stood behind that podium, so I get home and my grandfather tells me, he said, even though I go to a Holiness Methodist church, he told me to tell him that's just the Baptist in me standing behind that podium, though. But while we were sitting here waiting for the meeting to start, Pastor Bobby Dial back there, he was reading the newspaper, and I said, "Where'd you get that newspaper from?" He told me, so I went out there and got one. I don't know if y'all's read this yet, but it's the newspaper about Hayes Pond, how a bunch of Lumbies run the KKK out of Maxton. And I knew a little bit about Hayes Pond, but I didn't know a lot. Reading this, the topic of beta was beta absolute power, the power of beta. And I was thinking these gentlemen right here who had the absolute power to run racism against the Lumbee Nation and all that. So I just thought I'd mention that. But everywhere when he got up and said the prayer, it kind of moved me, because in this day and age, it basically feels like it's illegal to be a Christian. And you know, I knew when I got up there, God was going to be at some part of my speech. And in my speech, the first thing it says, firstly, God has absolute power. God has the absolute power to change a man's heart. He can take a beggar and bring him up to a millionaire. He can take a poor man and give him a mansion in glory. As the song says, I hold a clear title to a mansion. Fire cannot harm it. Thieves cannot touch it. And it never will need a repair. The termites cannot mar its foundation, for on the rock of ages it stands. Lord, I feel it's almost completed, and it's ready. Lord, it's just ready for me to move in. I listen to that song every time, and it moves me every time I listen to it, because I know I hold a clear title to a mansion that God has went to prepare. And when I got up there, I was worried, you know, that I would mess up and everything. But when I got up there, it feels that I weren't giving the speech. Something, you know, took over for me to give that speech. And I believe it was a greater power, the power of the name Jesus. And today, he don't mean a lot to this old world, but I tell you one thing, he means the world to me. And I'm not ashamed to say it in front of a crowd. I get on top of a rooftop and yell it. If it means you have to kill me, good. It make me closer to heaven, won't it? Amen. But I guess I'll give my speech now. And
when we got there, thank you. Now I ain't worth all that standing up now. Y'all ain't got to do all that. But when I got up there, the whole group was basically in there getting ready to listen to my speech, and it was in alphabetical order. And we sat there, we're waiting for Prospect School to be called, and we're sitting there. Somebody looked at me, when you going up? I said, look, we're in the E's, do the math. But I guess I'll do my speech now. And I haven't really said my speech since then, since church. So I ran over it one time. So if I mess up, please forgive me. But when one asks the question, what is absolute power? Many examples may come to mind. For one, in my Christian beliefs, God has absolute power, as told in many scriptures in the Bible. Secondly, a government can have absolute power, better known as absolutism, and encompasses the principle of complete and unrestricted governmental power. This power is usually placed into the hands of one person, designated as a dictator or despot. Thirdly, absolute power is illustrated in my home daily. For example, when my mama wakes me up in the mornings, it is not an option, for she has absolute power over when I get up. My personal definition of absolute power means placing no limitations to one's capabilities. When using this definition, it causes me to think of Beta and its members. Through Beta, its members are given the opportunity to exceed given expectations as well as great tasks. I, for one, have been able to achieve outstanding goals I thought would never come in close to reaching. Beta has given me the confidence to stand before you now and give this speech. Beta has helped me make my imagination my reality. So, not only does Beta and its members have absolute power, but Beta is absolute power by giving its members the encouragement and motivation they need to put effort into anything they set their mind to. I'd like to say just one more thing. Thank you. I'd like to say one more thing. I was sitting out there looking at all these nameplates. I told her, I told my mom, I said, you know what? I might need to run for council. She said, I don't think you're old enough for that. And I said, well, I'll be the first. It'd be worth it just to have my name on one of them little plaques right there. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
I told you. Riley is a former Little Miss Lumbee for 3 years. Yeah, we've got Keely Deal, who is our junior Miss Lumbee as well. I thought she was coming back up. I was going to mention it then, but
Trying to hold my breath, let it stay this way, and to let this moment take my hand. Please share this with me, darling, without you. All the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. Towers of gold gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough. Never be enough for me. Never, 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 never for me, for me. Never enough, never enough, never enough for me, for me, for me. For me.
She calls out to the man on the street, "Sir, can you help me? It's cold and I'm nowhere to sleep. Is there somewhere you can tell me?" He walks on, doesn't look back. He pretends he can't hear her, starts to whistle as he crosses the street. Seems embarrassed to be there. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you, you and me in paradise. Think about it. She calls out to the man on the street. He can see she's been crying. She's got blisters on the soles of
Okay, I think is that everybody? One more round of applause, y'all. I think this is wonderful. I think that we have to stand behind our youth. We have to support them, because if we don't, somebody else will, and it might be the wrong ones. So I think we have some gifts for the Prospect Beta Club.
Bernie.
Mr. Bernie. At this time, before too many folks leave, we're going to ask the chairman. The chairman has some remarks.
Could I, no, come back, Mr. Bernie. Normally, and I'm going to ask the entire council if they'll join me, but I would personally like to give a donation towards your trip.
What about we get it to you? That work? Does that work, Mr. Bernie? We'll make sure we get it to you, okay? And thank you ever so much for coming. So now we'll have some remarks from our chairman, John Lowry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appreciate it. I don't want to take too much time. I do want to give a shout out to Prospect Beta Club. So thank you guys for all that you've done. Thank you for representing not only the Prospect community, but representing our tribe, representing your families, representing your communities. So you guys have done a great job. And as Miss Sharon said, we all were following you on social media. So you guys have done a great job, and thank you for representing. I did want to give, I know he's already left, but I saw Bosco in here and I wanted to give him a shout out. As you know, Bosco was our housing director for many years here at the tribe, and almost every building that's been built within about a 10-year period was done up under his leadership as housing director. So just want to give him a shout out and give him a holler and tell him thank you for his sacrifice and his service to the Lumbee people. I also want to take a moment to tell you guys, first off, Mr. Alex Baker, Miss Joe Doss, Miss Kathy, Miss Christie, welcome to the Tribal Council. I was not here last meeting, but welcome, congratulations, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you guys. One thing that I've tried to do as speaker, I'm sorry, I apologize, as chairman, is to definitely be open to you guys and talking to you and trying to keep you updated on stuff. So I was in D.C. The past 2 weeks. I was invited by Congressman Rouser last Tuesday to go to the President's State of the Union address, and it was a great time. I was there, so trust me, I was there 3 hours. And so it was a great opportunity to be there. I was able to meet a lot of different individuals. One of the things that Congressman Rouser did a great job of was put me in a position to shake the hands of many congressmen and women who were coming through. So they all knew who I was. They all knew that I was the chairman of the tribe and that we had a bill coming down the pipe, and I wanted them to support us. So I do thank the congressman for that opportunity. Also, I was in D.C. yesterday. It was a quick trip. Went up and came back the same day. Did meet with Senator Tillis and Senator Budd. They are on board with us as Senator Tillis was before. Senator Budd is going to be with us as well. I can tell you that our bill will be reintroduced. I think it will be reintroduced in the House tomorrow, and I think it will be reintroduced in the Senate either tomorrow or on Monday. One big change that we have coming is that we're going to title it the Lumbee Fairness Act, and that's the short title. The long title is a bill to amend the 1956 Act, the 1956 Lumbee Act. So we are going away from this Lumbee recognition to the Lumbee Fairness Act. The reason being is because one thing that our opponents have done, they've been able to use that word recognition against us, and they've been able to push that propaganda, and they've been able to go to talk to people who do not know us and tell them that, oh, Congress is about to create a new tribe. That's what they say. Congress is about to create a new tribe. Y'all better fight this. And as you guys know, as I know, we have been recognized by the 1956 Act. So, like I said, the long title is a bill to amend the 1956 Act. The short title will be the Lumbee Fairness Act. So that will help us. That will help fight our opponents who constantly go out there and push. I ain't gonna say lies. I'm gonna say lies. Who tell lies about us? And so we will be pushing that. We are working on additional strategies. I will tell you guys more about that as we move forward. I think you will appreciate what we're going to do, and at the same time, I want to make sure you guys are good with it as well. So, Also, I want to tell you this. I did ask the speaker if she would allow for me to, not me, but for you guys to look at Kayla's Law. As you all know, Miss Kayla Hammonds was murdered in broad daylight in Food Line in Lumberton by her significant other. And because of that, I can tell you that our district attorney, our sheriff, our state senator, our state representative, it has worked together to draft the law that has been brought before the North Carolina State House and will also be brought before the North Carolina Senate. And they are calling it Kayla's Law. And there's 4 main points to this law. One is to allow for remote testimony of domestic violence victims. This is the same as certain cases involving children. So they already allow for remote testimony on certain children's cases. Now they're going to allow that to also happen with domestic violence. One of the things we learned about Kayla and what she dealt with was the fact that she was afraid to go to the courthouse. There was already a prior incident that happened at the courthouse. And another one is the required documentation of any domestic violence proceedings to preserve witness testimony for future trials. So if it's happened before, that can be brought again. That testimony can be brought into a future dispute. So just because it happened in the past, it don't stay in the past. It gets to go with the person. Make prior statements of domestic violence victims available in court to prove the defendant guilty if the defendant causes the victim to be unavailable. If the defendant causes the victim to be unavailable. Extend the time for bringing charges in misdemeanor domestic violence cases to 10 years, the same as child victim cases. So we're putting domestic violence on the same range and the same focus that we do child abuse cases. And to be honest with you, I'm glad for these changes. Like I said, this is in consultation with the district attorney's office. This is in consultation with the sheriff's office. This is going to be moving forward. And I just thought that Kayla was one of our tribal members. She's raised in our communities. And just asking you guys to pass this resolution of support, and let's get it up to our members in the North Carolina General Assembly, and let's hope that we can have this thing passed pretty quickly, and that future cases like this will not end like this, but will actually end up being better for those who are dealing with domestic violence issues. Also, my buddy back there mentioned the KKK and us running the KKK out. I do want to tell you guys, we did a video Zoom on January with Dr. Jim Jones and Mr. Jack Lowry. Both of these gentlemen are in their 80s, but in 1958, they were both there that night. So I would encourage you guys, I'd encourage teachers, educators to pull up that Zoom video. It is on our YouTube channel. But we did it was about an hour long. And counsel, if you haven't heard it, I would ask you just take an hour to just listen to it. These guys tell stuff that I've never heard. And I can tell you Mr. Jack Lowry was all about it that night. He was all about it. He said that they actually went and talked to the chancellor of UNC Pembroke. And so they're sitting here plotting and scheming with the chancellor on how to get the KKK out of here. And what they were going to do was they were going to set the field afire, because they always went into a field, they raised their cross, they burned their cross, they all stood around, and they said, well, we're going to burn the field. We're going to make it impossible for the Klan to hold a rally. So needless to say, they never got around to burning the field because they didn't have to. But it's only by the grace of God somebody was not killed that night. It really was. But there's one thing about it, they ain't been back. And if they were to come back, I'm telling you, Dr. Jim Jones and Mr. Jack Lowry, I believe they would be right back here with us again, ready to fight the Klan. So take a few minutes, look it up. I think it's on January the 20th, I think. It was a Friday. And it's a great video, great learning tool. And we're going to actually try to do more of these. I know the speaker has given us some ideas of some additional topics for us to address with our elders. But our elders have a lot of stories. As you guys know, we're working with the University of Florida to preserve some of those stories from our elders. But once again, just listening to those guys talk, listening to just the passion that they had in their voice, and knowing that that Dr. Jim Jones was actually a medical student at Wake Forest University and decided to drive 2.5 hours down here when he's supposed to have been studying. And then later on, the chancellor looks at him and says, who's this person on this picture here? Is this you, Dr. Jim? Well, Jim. No, Jim lied. No, that ain't me. That ain't me. But he risked his time in medical school. He could have been expelled, but it meant more for him to be down here with his people fighting against the Klan at that moment than it meant for him to be in medical school. So, but that's our people, right, Miss Yvonne? We're tough like that. So thank you once again. I appreciate all the work that you guys do. I appreciate you guys and your leadership, and I appreciate everything that you do to make sure that we're providing service to the Lumbee people each and every day. Thank you.
Next thing on the agenda is community comments. I only have one person that has signed up. Was there any online? Okay.
I will speak into the mic. First of all, I'm still harping on the ordinance for the Supreme Court. I've spoken with Councilman Jones about it, so I'm hoping there's something in the works on that, because I'm going to continue to harp on that because it's really needed. It's really needed. My second issue is, I understand you're going to be interviewing some Supreme Court nominees, and my question is if that interview is going to be open or closed. I know when I was on the council, interviewed Josh Malcolm, it was open. Harvey Godwin was seated back in the audience. So I'm just wondering if you all are, what you're planning on doing there. As you know, the United States of America interviews their Supreme Court nominees publicly. So there's no reason that the tribe should have closed confirmation hearings on a Supreme Court nominee. My third issue is, on your budget, you have an item called governmental operations. This is an income item, Revenue Code 4120, listed under miscellaneous. It's $926,100. I'm trying to find out if this is funds that came from LTH. My understanding was, because of a conversation I had with Josh Malcolm last year at the State of the Tribe address, was that the following week, he told me this personally, the following week he was going to be sending a check to Ron Oxendine for $3 million. Now, Ron Oxendine is a 20% holder of LTE. The tribe is a 60% holder, which meant that the funds that should have gone to LTH from LTE for the tribe should have been $9 million. So my question is, have you all received those funds? And if you did, how do you budget them? Is it listed in your budget? Would you list that coming from LTH? Is it listed under miscellaneous? Have you received it at all? I understand there's an agreement between the tribe and LTH that they retain 75% of the funds and you all get 25%. Bad. I don't understand that 75-25% deal, but my question is, have you all received those funds? Thank you very much.
Next thing on the agenda is we're going to go into committee reports, and first we'll hear from our Economic Development Chair, Mr. Joe Goolsby.
I'll be reading CLLR 2023-0216-01 resolution to support the development of small businesses. The third whereas, One change, the appropriated funds for this year is 150,000, but we had 24,000 and something carryover, so I'm gonna just leave it at the 150. If we would make that change on your resolution, that's the budgeted amount for this year. So anyway, the Economic Development Committee has been appropriated $150,000 and will grant 10 projected small business to receive grants. Should be just grants, not loans. I'm sorry, I missed that when I proofread it. In the amount of $5,000 each, who meet all required credentials and qualifications, and therefore be it resolved, the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby give permissions to 10 projected small businesses to receive grants in the amount of $5,000 each, who meet all required credentials and qualification. I did have a couple questions on this over the last week or so from a couple of council members. Basically, all we're doing is allocating $50,000 out of the economic development budget to provide 10 $5,000 grants to tribal members as soon as we develop the process and qualifications and requirements. So it's just setting the money to the side at the moment right now.
Coming from, I'm sorry, coming from committee, it doesn't require a motion. Is there any more discussion, Bill?
Yeah, do we need to vote on this now or wait until we get the policy in place? Cause I tell you that it must be a can of worms if we ain't got a policy in place.
It's a pleasure to council.
We're just allocating the money. We're not ready to start issuing it out. As soon as the policy and the qualifications are established is when we'll announce that it's ready for applicants. So it's just allocating so we won't spend the money somewhere else.
Speaker, just a question, where are we going to allocate the money to? Where will we be allocating the money to? I mean, will it stay in economic development? Would it go to?
Yeah, a line item in economic development, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll still be economic development funds, and it'll go through the economic development. Ever how we set it up through the economic development committee and council approves is then we'll start awarding it. It's not ready to be awarded. We're just allocating now. And it'll stay in the economic development budget.
Mr. Jones?
I just want to remind council, in the committee meeting, we said that this money will only go until credentials and qualifications are established.
Motion, roll call, Adam.
Billy Oxenine.
Ain't got to make a motion first. I make a substitute motion that we postpone until we have a policy in place.
Second, so we'll vote on the first motion.
Billy Oxenine.
No.
Sharon Hunt.
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby.
Yes.
Harold Smith.
Yes.
Pam Hunt.
Yes.
Jody Bullard.
Yes.
Wendy Moore. Carrington Locklear.
Yes.
Christy Hunt.
Yes.
Richard Jones.
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Yvonne Daw.
No.
Rudy Locklear.
Yes.
Kathy Hunt. Dewey McNeil.
Yes.
Bobby Emmanuel.
Yes.
Chakawana Oxendine. Josephine Dawes. Annie Taylor.
Yes.
Alex Baker.
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item is Finance Chair Pam Hunt.
Good evening. Our first resolution is CLR 2023-0216-02, a resolution to proceed with Title VI loan for Dunn Road. And I'll read from the second whereas. Whereas Article 7, Section 1 of the Tribal Constitution delegates all legislative authority to the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina. And whereas the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina hereby gives permission to proceed with a Title VI loan not to exceed $12 million for the construction of E36 located on Dunn Road, Lumberton, to provide rental housing for the elderly. Therefore, be it resolved, the Lumbee Tribe of Be it therefore resolved, the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby give permission to proceed with a Title VI loan not to exceed $12 million. And I would just like to add to this to make it a little clear that this is for a project that's going behind the bank on Fifth Street at Lumbee Bank Food Line that will provide 36 units for rental purposes to the elders. And what this means is a Title VI loan is we go to a bank, it gives us leverage to use funds to build that. That's not coming out of NAHASDA monies.
I thought you were 72 homes.
36 belong to the tribe, 36 belong to the developing company.
Coming from committee, it doesn't require further discussion.
Billy Oxendine.
Yes.
It's okay. It's just for clarification. In the event that a past disaster happens, do we have rental space for 36 units for people who are?
If you ask it that way, then you've got to ask about all the properties that we've got here. But, so I can tell you that we've got, I don't know how many rental units throughout the tribe. And I'm sure that if something happened in all of them, we will do our best to accommodate. But no, you don't anticipate something like that happen. You get help from FEMA and everywhere else after it happens.
Madam Secretary.
Billy Oxendine.
Yes.
Sharon Hunt.
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby.
Yes.
Pearl Smith.
Yes.
Pam Hunt.
Yes.
Jody Bullard.
Yes.
Wendy Moore. Carrington Locklear. Christy Hunt.
Yes.
Richard Jones.
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Yvonne Dahl.
Yes.
Rudy Locklear.
Yes.
Kathy Hunt.
Yes.
Dewey McNeil.
Yes.
Bobby Emmanuel.
Yes.
Chakawana Oxendine. Josephine Dawes. Annie Taylor. Alex Baker.
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Our second resolution is CLLR 2023-0216-03, the resolution to proceed with Comtech property purchase. I'll read from the third whereas. Whereas the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina hereby gives permission to the Lumbee Tribe Administration to proceed with the purchase of the Comtech property at 171 Comtech Drive, Pembroke, North Carolina, 28372. Therefore, be it resolved, the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby give permission to the Lumbee Tribe Administration to proceed with the purchase of the Comtech property located at 171 Comtech Drive, Pembroke, North Carolina.
What's the ballpark price? Did we ever find that out, Mr. Ricky?
Negotiations.
Okay.
Further discussion? Roll call, Madam.
Billy Oxendine,
Yes.
Sharon Hunt,
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby,
Yes.
Harold Smith, Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore, Carrington Locklear, Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Richard Jones,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Yvonne Daw, Rudy Locklear, Kathy Hunt, McNeil,
Yes.
Bobby Emmanuel,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxendine, Josephine Dawes, Annie Taylor, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Apologize. Next, we have COLO 2022-1020-02. Fiscal year October 1, 2022 through September 30th, 2023 Lumbee Tribal Budget Ordinance. This is a budget amendment. I'll read from the fifth whereas. Whereas the Tribal Council has authority and fiduciary responsibility to ensure compliance with program funding and allocations. Therefore, be it enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance cited as fiscal year October 1, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, Lumbee Tribal Budget Ordinance, subject to all inclusions and provisions. And just overall, they're adding $150,000 to the Highway 41 development. They're taking $600,000 from the Candy Park site development and adding $1,418,482.99 to the Sherrill Acres project.
Committee, doesn't require a second. Does anybody have any discussion or questions? Mr. Goolsby?
Where's Sherrill Acres? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Any others? Mr. Bill?
I still like to see notes down at the bottom, Pam. We forget we ain't getting no younger.
We discuss it in committee, plus it's given to you almost a week prior, so we have plenty of time for discussion, so we don't have to do it in open session.
Mr. Billy Oxendine,
Pass.
Sharon Hunt, Gerald Gooseby,
Yes.
Harold Smith, Pam Hunt,
Yes. Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore, Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Richard Jones,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Yvonne Daw,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear, Kathy Hunt, Joey McNeil,
Yes.
Bobby Emmanuel,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxendine, Josephine Dawes. Annie Taylor. Alex Baker.
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Mr. Billy Oxnine.
Yes.
Motion pass. Motion.
Our next resolution is CLLO 2021-0628-04. I will read from the sixth whereas. Whereas the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina has received a grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to be named IHBG American Rescue Plan budget in the amount of $9,709,589. And whereas the grant will be administered as described in the budget, and whereas the Lumbee Tribe budget amendment is used to address the following changes, therefore it be it enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance shall be cited as the IHBG American Rescue Plan budget, subject to all inclusions and provisions as stated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. For an overview, there is rough, and I'm not going to say exact, I'm gonna give you rough figures, y'all have it. Roughly, 261,000 in salaries, of course, 83 in fringe benefits, administrative services, 971,000, 60,000 for supplies, 100 for equipment, 48,819 in development. Contractual services will be amended to 126,426. We have monies for home replacement that we're increasing. We have monies in here for housing service vouchers, and $5 million for construction of rental units at Healy Branch, Dreamcatcher, and another for admin space.
Billy Oxnine.
Wait a minute, is there any discussion? Mr. Jones?
The 2.4 million for the home replacement. When can I ask the question of when do you think we can close that out? When will that whole process be finished?
Contract signed, the money's fully obligated. Actually, production of the homes are picking up speed like it better than it was in COVID. So a lot of the holdups are just the tribal members getting their permitting for septic and the plot plan, everything, the permitting to bring the homes on their site. But the ball's pretty much in the tribal members' court, contingent on those things.
This year.
Yeah,
If everything works good with our client, with the members and all.
Yes, sir.
Bill?
Mr. Brad, are these all mobile units?
Comments? Madam Secretary?
Yes.
Billy Oxnine.
Yes.
Sharon Hunt.
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby.
Yes.
Harold Smith. Pam Hunt.
Yes.
Jody Buller.
Yes.
Wendy Moore. Carrington Locklear.
Yes.
Christy Hunt.
Yes.
Richard Jones.
Yes.
Nancy Locklear. Yes. Yvonne Daw.
Yes.
Rudy Locklear.
Yes.
Kathy Hunt. Dewey McNeil. Bobby Emanuel.
Yes.
Chakawana Oxnine. Josephine Dawes. Annie Taylor. Alex Baker.
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Our next ordinance, CLLO 2022-1117-05, North Carolina Office of Administrative Budget Ordinance. I'll read from the sixth whereas. Whereas the Lumbee Tribal Budget, NC Office of Administration Budget Ordinance will provide agricultural resources to our Native American communities, and therefore be it enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance shall be cited as NC Office of Administrative Budget Ordinance, subject to all inclusions and provisions. And basically, we just took some money out of initial capital outlay, put money in for a salary with fringe benefits, general supplies, some office furniture, some outreach, development, and contract services.
Coming from committee, it doesn't require a motion. Is there any discussion? Oxendine.
Is this the 500,000 from the Raleigh?
This is the agricultural funds.
Is that the money from the state budget?
Yes, sir.
Billy Oxenine,
Yes.
Sharon Hunt,
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby,
Yes.
Earl Smith,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore, Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Richard Jones,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes, Yvonne Dahl,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt, Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Joy McNeil,
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxenine, Josephine Doss,
Yes.
Annie Taylor, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Homer Field.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Our last ordinance is CLLO 2023-0216-01, the LIHEAP Budget Ordinance. I'll read from the sixth whereas. Whereas the Lumbee Tribal Budget LIHEAP Ordinance will assist to low-income households with cooling services as provided by the Department of Health and Human Services, and therefore be it enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance shall be cited as LIHEAP Budget Ordinance, subject to all inclusions and provisions. We received additional funds in the amount of $459,113, and we are allocating that entire amount to the Cooling Assistance Program.
Any discussion?
Billy Oxenine,
Yes.
Sharon Hunt,
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby,
Yes.
Earl Smith, Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore, Carrington Locklear, Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Richard Jones,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes, Yvonne Dahl, Rudy Locklear, Kathy Hunt, Joy McNeil, Bobby Emanuel, Chakawana Oxendine, Josephine Doss, Annie Taylor, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, the last order of business is the item that was added, Kayla's Act, and I will ask Mr. Dewey McMill if he will read that for us.
I'm going to read CLLR-2023-0216-04, Resolution to Support Kayla's Act. We'll start with the third whereas. Whereas the Lumbee Tribe promotes the educational, cultural, social, and economic well-being of the Lumbee people. And whereas the Lumbee tribe recognizes the epidemic of missing and murdered and indigenous women and men in our tribal community. And whereas American Indian women are more likely to be victims of violence than the general Americans. And whereas the recently introduced Kayla's Act, Protecting Victims of Domestic Violence, North Carolina Senate Bill 51, and House Bill 39, seeks to protect victims of domestic violence here in North Carolina. And therefore be it resolved, the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, in accordance with the complete well-being of Lumbee people, hereby supports the adoption of Kayla's Act, Senate Bill 51, and House Bill 50.
Mr. Speaker, I offer a motion that we approve this since it didn't come from committee. I approve it. My daughter was so upset about this. She was a friend of Kayla's, and she ended up having to stay with us a couple of nights. So I strongly support this. So I offer it in the form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Gerald Gooseby, a second by Mr. Homer Fields. Any discussion? Mr. Harold? You told me you couldn't talk.
I can talk a little bit. You can't keep it quiet forever. I work with Kayla's dad every day. Not many days that don't go by without finding him somewhere in a corner and just go put my arm around him, say a prayer with him. It's real. Every day, but you can see it all over his face. Family. I just ask you to, when you pray, remember her father and that family, because this is something that he deals with every day.
Not only the father, but the mother and the sister also, and the grandparents. I know the family well, friends with them, and they're still taking this awfully hard.
Rudy?
Just like to note that before we certify the resolution, the last therefore.
The
So at the
last
bottom,
therefore, it should say House 30. '51 and House 39.
I would say one let's remember there's a lot club missing in Lumberton also for the past month. They announced it today.
Okay.
Billy Oxendine,
Yes. Cut your mic.
Karen Hunt,
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby,
Yes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore, Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Richard Jones,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Yvonne Dahl,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear, Kathy Hunt, Joy McNeil,
Yes.
Bobby Manuel,
yes.
Chakawana Oxendine, Josephine Dawes, Kayla, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Homer Fields,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, if you'll turn your attention to the February calendar.
On February the 23rd, there's going to be a Constitution Ordinance Committee meeting,
30?
6:30, and it'll be for the Supreme Court nominees. But we'll open up to the public, and then we'll go into closed session when it starts the interviews.
Constitution ordinance on February 23rd at 6:30 for purpose of Supreme Court nominees.
Awesome, Miss Sandy.
Do you want us to sing now or later? Okay.
Mr. Chair, Josh is supposed to be getting up with me. As soon as he does, I'll inform council when we'll schedule that meeting. I think it'll be the 1st of March, but it may be this February also. I don't know yet.
If you'll turn your attention to the March calendar.
Madam Speaker,
Mr. Jones.
thank you for acknowledging me. If I could have our housing meeting on the 7th, please, at 6:30. And yeah.
If we could have a health meeting on the 9th at 6:30.
Oh, we'll be at the Unity Conference on the 9th.
Okay. Oh yeah, I correct. I'll make can we make it the 13th?
Else on the 13th
13th.
at 6:30, Jody? $7:30. Anybody else?
Are we allowed to do meetings that our business meeting is on the 16th? So if you plan something on the 13th,
The thing says to all extent possible. It does not say we can't.
Got to put it on here so they give us an oversight. Y'all want to change health and education? Okay, health and education are going to move up to the 6th at 6:30 and 7:30 respectively. Six instead of the 13th. 7th is housing and finance.
schedule CNO for the 7th.
Have housing at 6:30, finance at 7:30.
Economic development.
Are you expecting to have anything that needs to go before council?
Let's do March the 2nd.
Constitution and ordinance on March 2nd at 6:30. Okay, look at your calendars. March the 2nd, Constitution and ordinance, 6:30. March the 6th, health at 6:30, education at 7:30. March the 7th, housing at 6:30, finance at 7:30. Our business meeting, our monthly business meeting is at 6:30 on the 16th. Mr. Emmanuel.
Ethics on the 2nd at 7:30.
Carol.
Maybe on the economic development, the 21st.
Foresee having anything that needs to go before council at that meeting?
On the 16th. I got a meeting the 21st of next week. So what we decide there could come before council.
Economic development on the 21st.
Yeah.
Can I say something? I'm sorry. Mr. Gooseby.
Yes, sir.
If we do that on the 21st, that won't put any kind of decisions until April.
It's
He's got one at the end of February.
Well, whatever we do. Well, we got a meeting on the 21st. Got a couple items I need to bring before council on the 16th if it passes through economic development. Developing the policy for the other thing is going to take some time. It ain't going to happen in
So you
one
don't
week.
anticipate anything urgent on the 21st that will have to be at the March meeting?
As it stands right now, I don't. I mean, we got the only thing that's pending that I know of that's pressing is what we just approved tonight, and to come up with a policy and requirements, which is just not going to happen in an hour.
Take some time, yeah.
It's not going to happen in an hour.
Yes, ma'am, I can. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. District 3 is going to have a meeting March 30th at 6 o'clock. All you guys and girls are more welcome to attend. March the 30th. It's going to be at Antioch Church over on Rozier Side and Road, right off Highway 301.
Anything further? Mr. Emmanuel?
My meeting for March 28th had been moved to April 25th, same location.
So that District 10 community meeting has been changed to April the 10th.
25th.
In the meantime, to the council, if anyone has suggestions or drafts or recommendations for the requirements or policy on the grants, if you would shoot them to me by email or text, or just get them to me, and we'll try to gather them all, and it will put us a little bit ahead of the game on working with it.
All hearts and minds are clear?
So move.
Harris, did you?
Madam Chair, we have the directive for you. Like to get
I would also like to remind everybody we're having our community meeting at the Cooperative Extension Monday the 20th at 6 o'clock. We're going to be feeding you, and we're actually trying to go towards the heart healthy portion.
Madam, we need, just a reminder, we need to schedule an LNTP meeting. It'll be brief, because you'll be over that, for the purpose of changing bank cards and that type of stuff. It needs to be done. Like, it won't, yes.
We'll add a LMTP meeting on the 7th at 8:30 following finance. It's just a very brief LMTP meeting.
One also has a community meeting coming up on February 27th. Also, it's going to be at the Hawkeye Lumbee Boys and Girls Club.
Mr. Bill?
Rick, do we disregard the old one? Thank you.
Okay, it's been a very sad day today. So if you'll just keep Miss Wendy and her family in your prayers. Miss Chakawana's father is ill as well. So if you'll just keep both of them in your prayers. It's just been a lot going on this week. There's a lot of heavy hearts this week all across the county. And so just be much in prayer for those who have lost loved ones this past week. And the weeks and days coming ahead is going to be tough. As soon as we hear any kind of arrangements, we will get that out to you. I was just made aware that Wendy's father was actually the founder of the Prospect Fire Department. He was the first chief of the Prospect Fire Department, and I think they've been there at least 50 years, right? Didn't they just have their 50th anniversary? So just be much in prayer, Mr. Gerald.
Just want to make sure we don't have a flower fund, or we need to make sure that the council sends something to Cindy's father. I don't know how to handle that, Miss Pam.
Administration usually takes care of that for us, and they send it on behalf
From
of all of
council.
us, from the
From
council,
council.
from all of us.
Okay, and again, when we get the arrangements, we will shoot them out to you. Operation Prom, don't forget that if you wanted to contribute to that, as has so far been very successful. Some of you committed to donate, so we'll take those donations at any time. We are doing really great for the girls. We probably have 400 dresses. And we're going to be doing hair and makeup. Our first prom is March the 30th, so it's the first for our group. I hope it's not the last time we do this. Where we're running into a snag is, it's hard to fit guys, so we're asking for sponsorships for the guys. A couple of the men's stores have agreed to, well, one particular has agreed to give us a deal for, we will issue them a voucher and they will just go to the men's store to be fitted for their tux there. And again, we are serving all 5 schools in the county. If there's somebody that you know that has a need, just see me, and I'll make sure that we try our best to meet their need. Because I feel like prom is a rite of passage. It's a celebration of all their accomplishments, and if we can make it happen for 10 kids, I'm excited. But I think our number is much greater than 10. So, but anyway. If you will see Miss Lakeisha after the meeting, I think she might have some material for you for tomorrow. She'll have everything there. If all hearts and minds are clear, Mr. Gooseby, will you lead us in prayer?
Most gracious, kind Father, Lord, we just thank you, Father God, for this day, Father God. We thank you for such beautiful weather we're having, Father. Father, we know that when it rains on the just and the unjust, Father. But Lord, we just pray, Lord, that you just send the Holy Spirit, Father God, to comfort Sister Wendy, Lord, and her family in Carrington, Lord. Just comfort them, Father, during this time, Lord. Lord, just touch each and every one, Lord, that's suffering from a loss, Father God. It's just, you just don't know what it means unless you've experienced yourself, Father. I just pray, Lord, for your comfort. Lord, I pray for this council as a whole, Lord. Help us to go forward, Father God, and just make decisions, Lord, for our people, Lord, that will move us further, Father, that we could just get people out of the houses that they're living in that's got leaky roofs and airy windows and all kind of unsafe conditions, Lord. Just help us to make the decisions that would better their situations, Lord. Lord, just lead, guide, and direct us, Father. And Father, as we go into this weekend, Lord, I pray for safe travels for everyone, Lord. I pray that you guide us and open our minds up, Father, to what we need to discuss, Lord. Help us to come on one accord and make decisions for our people. Lord, I pray for our Lumbee Act, Lord. You know all about it. I pray that you soften the hearts of those that's going to make decisions, Lord, that we will receive our justice that's so widely deserved. In Jesus' name we do pray.